Hello. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has clearly refused to appear before the Enforcement Directorate, which clearly signals that he wants to contest these summons in Liquorgate scam legally and also politically. Now, why legally? Because in a letter which he has written to the Enforcement Directorate, he has asked that whether he has been summoned as an accused or a witness. Now we need to understand why he has chosen these two words, because under section 50 of PMLA, that is under ED, there is no distinguish between an accused or a witness. Like in CRPC, a person is summoned under section 160 CRPC. His statement is written under section 161 CRPC or 164 CRPC. 161 CRPC is not admissible. 164 CRPC is admissible in court. But this distinction is not there as far as section 50 of PMLA is concerned. The statement is also admissible and there is no distinction between an accused or a witness. And the Chief Minister knows, he has taken legal advice from well-known lawyers, and that is why he has chosen these two words and has asked Enforcement Directorate to explain whether he has been summoned as a witness or as an accused. More so, when I was speaking to some lawyers, they said that Article 20/3 of Constitution of India, clearly says that a person cannot be forced to give a testimony or cannot be a witness against oneself. So that protection, that safeguard is there given to an individual. But as far as PMLA is concerned, Section 50 of PMLA is concerned, this safeguard is not there. And that's the reason why that most of the people who have to appear before Enforcement Directorate either go with lawyers or take, some kind of a time to sort things out, because they know that once they appear before Enforcement Directorate, not only their statement would be admissible, but it can be used against them also. So this is the reason why even the Chief Minister of Delhi has chosen to give a detailed letter asking whether he has been summoned as a witness or whether he has been summoned as an accused. Also, the legal experts also differ in their opinion as far as these sections are concerned. As far as this section of PMLA 50 is concerned, they say that though there are some loopholes, the law is draconian. Even discussions about this were going on within the government circles also, but nothing much has been done as far as this section is concerned. But as far as Mr. Arvind Kejriwal is concerned, in his own letter, he has also asked the Enforcement Directorate whether these summons are asked him to appear before the Enforcement Directorate as an individual or as the Chief Minister of the Delhi or as AAP convener, which clearly indicates that he also wants to contest these summons politically. He also states that now it's a festival season, Diwali is round the corner, he has some political commitments, he has commitments before public, so he wants to complete that. And he also taken a plea that now that the election campaign is going on in states, he has to go and campaign for his own party also. So clearly it indicates that Mr. Kejriwal wants to contest these summons politically also. The lawyers that I spoke to, they said soon he would be approaching Delhi High Court, trying to, go ask more time and also challenge those summons as far as ED is concerned. Now, talking about Enforcement Directorate, we also need to explain to you as far as what is the case. As far as ED is concerned, they say the name of Arvind Kejriwal figures not only in remand papers but also in court documents, and also it was mentioned in reference to the meetings and also fixing commissions. When this, licenses were given to people, these vents were given to people, there were meetings, and in those discussions, the name of Arvind Kejriwal was mentioned. This is the case of Enforcement Directorate. ED so far has filed 5 prosecution complaints, and in one prosecution complaint, the reference to Mr. Kejriwal is clear. As far as ED is concerned, they bank on the statements of 3 people. First is Samir Mahendru, who is the owner of Indo Spirit. His statement was recorded on November 5th, 2022. In his statement, Sameer Mahendru said that Vijay Nair, who was the communications in charge for Aam Aadmi Party, categorically told him that Mr. Kejriwal wants to meet him. Though there was an effort on Mr. Vijay Nair's part also to make the meeting happen, but however, it did not happen, and that is why Mr. Nair dialed Mr. Kejriwal on FaceTime. And in that conversation, Mr. Mahendru claims that Mr. Kejriwal said Mr. Nair is his own boy and he should cooperate with him. So this is one statement which goes against Mr. Kejriwal. Statement number 2 is of C. Arvind, who is the secretary to Manish Sisodia, the Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi. In his statement, he says that the profit margin was increased from 5 to 12% when a meeting was held in Arvind Kejriwal's residence. Now, the ED claims, this is the allegation of ED, that their probe shows that when the profit margins were raised from 5 to 12, out of this 6% were given back to Aam Aadmi Party as kickbacks. This is the allegation of ED, and they say that they need to investigate this fact also further. Thirdly, the PA of Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, Mr. Kumar, his statement also is in a kind of a way against Mr. Kejriwal, because in his statement he has admitted that he was one of those people who had destroyed as many as 70 phones. Now, ED claims that those phones were crucial as far as the technical evidence in the case is concerned. So those phones were destroyed, and ED also claimed that Mr. Kumar changed 4 handsets between the time period of September 2021 to July 2022, saying that some kind of technical evidences were there in these handsets and these were destroyed by these people. This is the claim of Enforcement Directorate. So the Chief Minister of Delhi also needs to be probed on this factor. However, when you speak to lawyers, they categorically say that these are statements only. They are not leading to any kind of money trail, which is very important to establish the money laundering aspect as far as the ED case goes. So the case is obviously going to fall flat when it goes for probe, when it goes to the court. But as of now, the Enforcement Directorate is putting pressure on Aam Aadmi Party so that Aam Aadmi Party cannot campaign for the forthcoming elections. We also need to talk about the history of Enforcement Directorate. Since the time it has come into being in its present avatar, as per the latest figures which were submitted in Parliament, as many as 906 cases were registered by the Enforcement Directorate, out of which 1,142 charge sheets were filed by the officers of Enforcement Directorate. But only 25 cases were disposed of, and 24 convictions were, 24 convictions they could manage, which means that their conviction rate is very low. But when you speak to ED officers, when I spoke to ED officers, their reasoning was that how do you come to a conclusion that the ED conviction rate is low? You can only calculate conviction rate of an agency based on the fact that how many cases have gone to the court. In this case, only 25 cases were disposed of, out of which 24 convictions were done, which means their conviction rate is 96%. Contrary to what the opposition has been saying, what the opposition has been claiming, that ED has a very low conviction rate and they have been targeting only the opposition leaders. So this kind of debate is always happening between the probe agency and the people who are representing the accused. In this case, Aam Aadmi Party obviously is taking this plea that it's a political vendetta. But as far as Arvind Kejriwal is concerned, it is very clear that he is now going to deal, as far as liquor gate scam is concerned, he is going to take this matter to the courts, and soon he would be challenging these summons in Delhi. He's going to fight out this case politically too. So for today, this is it from me, Neeta Sharma. I will be meeting you next week again with a new subject. Thank you.